What's up, people? Welcome back to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. I hope everyone is doing well on this Monday morning. I hope everyone has had a really nice weekend and isn't feeling too down about the draw yesterday with Athletic Bilbao. We will talk a little bit about the game later on in the show, but as always, we do have a massive show for you guys today, so please do smash a like on the video, please do subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and please do get involved in the comment section. I try and make it as interactive as possible, so I do love to see what you guys have to say. Right, but let's jump straight on into the show though. We've got so much to get into on the show this morning. We've got lots and lots of updates on Fred, Donny van der Beek, Rasmus Hojlund. We now have found out what his shirt number will be. We're going to be talking about two potential new signings. We're going to be talking about Maguire leaving, Martial potentially leaving, McTominay. Honestly, so much to get into. So do make sure you smash a like, do subscribe to the channel, and let's jump straight on into it. Let's start off with some positivity then, as we like to always do on this channel. So Rasmus Hojlund looks like he will be given the number 17. Fabrizio Romano came out last night saying Rasmus Hojlund will wear the number 17 shirt for Manchester United this season. So at the moment, obviously the number 17 shirt is Fred's the number 17, right? So we will talk about Fred in a little bit, but Rasmus Hojlund is ultimately taking Fred's shirt. Okay, it's fine. It's, you know, I know it's not the most exciting thing, but it is always nice to know what shirt numbers people are getting and stuff. Obviously, Rasmus Hojlund did wear the number 17 at Atalanta, so it did make sense when he first came in. And if anybody watched the game against... Who was it against? My mind's gone Lons. If anybody watched the game against Lons where Rasmus Hojlund was unveiled, I wonder if you noticed when he came out with his shirt, it didn't have a number on the back. That was because ultimately he's waiting for somebody to leave the club and then he's going to take their shirt number. So Rasmus Hojlund will wear the 17 shirt at Manchester United, which is currently occupied by Fred, but Fred is leaving. We will be talking about Fred in a minute. So yeah, give me 5 minutes and I'll give you all of the latest on Fred. Yeah, I think number 17 is cool. It doesn't really... I don't know. Shirt numbers don't really excite me that much. I'm not going to be like jumping for joy and all the rest of it, but it does now make sense as to why he didn't have a shirt number when he was unveiled at Old Trafford. Obviously because he's taken Fred's number and they can't give him Fred's shirt until Fred's gone. You know, they just don't do that. That's pretty rude, isn't it? So yeah, he will wear the number 17. Yeah. Somebody in the chat saying about Fantasy Premier League. Is anybody going to get Hojlund in their Fantasy Premier League? Let me know in the comment section. I might do a league for Fantasy Premier League. Let me know in the comment section if you want me to do a Daily Red Devil Fantasy League. And maybe we'll do it with some sort of prize or something. Let me know if you want to do it. And if enough people in the chat say, just say, yes, I want a Fantasy Premier League. So just spam that in the chat and spam it in the comment section once this goes live. And if enough people do it, then I will set up one for this community, which we can all get involved in. Right, let's move on with some other stuff though. Obviously, we've clarified what his shirt number will be. Okay, that's good. Just for anybody who missed the show a couple of days ago, he isn't going to be featuring against Wolves a week today in our Premier League opener. He is apparently injured for about 2 weeks. We're not sure exactly what the injury is, but he won't be featuring against Wolves 1 week today in our Premier League opener. So that's a bit of a shame because I would have really liked to see him. He is training, but apparently he's not match ready. So yeah, I think we'll probably see him either against Nottingham Forest or against Arsenal. So not this game, not the next game, the game after. I think that's probably the most realistic. Right, let's move on with some other bits though. Let's talk about Harry Maguire. Obviously, yesterday was a really bad day for Maguire. The goal that we conceded was obviously his fault. He did, though, get an assist at the end of the match, so he did maybe get a bit of redemption. But yeah, it wasn't a great performance from Maguire, was it? He was getting booed by the fans. It was a bit sad, really, to watch. It made me a little bit sad. I don't think players should ever be booed. And honestly, he was getting booed for the whole game after he gave away that goal. Really is sad. But anyway, we've had a story come out this morning saying that David Moyes has informed West Ham's board that Harry Maguire is the ideal profile to strengthen his backline. Their direction in the market, as far as the defensive reinforcements are concerned, is quite clear. So David Moyes is really pushing for Harry Maguire's signature. We've said this many times on the channel before, but I think Harry Maguire would be an absolutely amazing signing for West Ham. So let's just hope that this week we do get this deal coming to fruition and ultimately that he goes, because he is a breaking point now, isn't it? When your own fans are booing you. I know it's just a friendly and all the rest of it, but still, for your own fans to be booing you, like, people clearly don't want him at this club anymore. And I just think for his own sake, for his own mental health, like, he needs to leave. He needs to go somewhere else where he can kind of start again from fresh with no expectations. And I just hope that he understands that and he does the right thing, because yeah, very frustrating it is. And I don't condone booing players. I honestly think that's unacceptable. But yeah, that's just my take on it. Maybe I'm being a bit old school here. We should support our players through it all. But we can obviously say that we don't think they're good enough to play for Manchester United. Like, that's fine to say. It's just booing them is maybe a little bit too far. So on the flip side of that, it does look like a second bid is going to come in from West Ham for Harry Maguire. Obviously, their first bid was £20 million and was rejected. Manchester United are believed to want somewhere between 30 and 40 million pounds, which we're obviously going to be very, very lucky to get 40. I think 30 would be a fair price. Maybe 25 million plus add-ons, something around that kind of mark, I think would be fair for all parties. 20 million was a joke. Even Harry Maguire supposedly thought that the £20 million bid from West Ham was a joke. So I think West Ham are going to have to at least cough up 30 million if they want to get Harry Maguire to the club. And when you think he is an England international, he does start every single game for England. He is a really, really good defender in a more defensive style team. I think for 30 million, it's actually quite a good deal for them. So let's hope that this one does get over the line, even if it's 25 plus maybe 5 in add-ons, something like that. Yeah, let's just hope this one does happen. But from what we're hearing, West Ham will come back in with an improved bid. But at this point, we can't tell you what that improved bid is yet because ultimately they haven't put the bid in. But David Moyes is really, really pushing for his signature. So yeah, this week is a really, really important week. And let's just hope that we do get some news on it early on in the week and that West Ham come back in with an improved bid and then things start to move. And then on the flip side of that, as it always is with transfers, there's a domino effect, okay? As soon as Harry Maguire goes, apparently Manchester United are then going to move for Jean-Claire Todibo of Nice. So Fabrizio Romano has come out saying that Manchester United had contacts to be informed on the conditions of Jean-Claire Todibo deal. It says he is the main option which could be activated if Harry Maguire leaves. So ultimately, if Harry Maguire leaves, we're going to go all out for Jean-Claire Todibo. That's what Fabrizio Romano is reporting. He goes on to say that Manchester United are keeping an eye on the situation of Jean-Claire Todibo, and they have had contacts. They think that Todibo could be one of the priority options if Harry Maguire leaves. So it looks like Manchester United are really, really keen on this signing, and it looks like he will be the replacement for Harry Maguire. I'm not massively sure about this Todibo guy. I've seen him play a couple of times. I think he's good, but I don't think he's the best option out there. But obviously, if we get him, I'll 100% back them. So let's wait and see what happens. He's definitely a massive improvement on Harry Maguire, I will say that. But let me know in the comment section if if Jean-Claire Todibo is somebody you would like to see at Manchester United. Is there somebody else you think would be a better fit at the centre-back position? Obviously, he is still quite young. I think he's 25, I think. No, sorry, he's 23, so he's very, very young. Obviously plays his football for Nice in the French league. I believe he's in the French international team. I don't know if he's played with Varane at international level. So Nice paid €8 million for him 2 years ago. So I think it would probably cost us somewhere between 40 and 45 million euros. I think he does have a release clause, I saw. I think his release clause is somewhere around 45 million. Let me just double check that for you guys really quickly. Yeah, so Jean-Claire Todibo has a release clause of around 45 million euros. So yeah, it would cost us 45 million, which is obviously a lot of money, but for a 23-year-old defender who could, in theory, go on to be a really, really solid addition to the squad. I'm not sure if he's that much better than Lindelof for me. I'm not sure if he's going to push Varane out of the team, but you never know, do you? There's quite a lot of people getting quite excited about this signing. I'm going to spend a bit of time today watching a few more of his videos, watching a few scout reports and all the rest of it. Because like I said, I've only seen him play a couple of times. He did come from, so he came from Barcelona to Nice. I think he's been quite good at Nice, yeah. So I'm not sure about this one. If there's anybody in the chat who thinks, we need to get him at all costs, let me know. If there's somebody else that you think would be a better fit in his position, please do let me know. Obviously, he's a lot more fast than Maguire. He's a lot more mobile. So he's definitely an upgrade on Maguire, 100%. I'm just not sure whether he's good enough to be, the starting centre-back in the next kind of 2 or 3 years. But maybe he is. I'm not entirely sure. We've got over 600 people watching the show this morning, guys, which is absolutely incredible. Please do make sure to smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here. We're less than 50 subscribers away from 9,200. So let's see if we can hit that by the end of the stream. We're on the road to 10K. The target is to hit 10K by the time the season starts. So please make sure to smash a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. It doesn't cost any money. It's completely free. So do get involved in the community. As I've said to you many, many times on this show, for me, I reckon we can make do without Maguire and then spend the money on a striker. I don't really see the point in getting another centre-back. I just think that unless it's going to be the number one target, which it isn't, because our number one target was Kim Min-jae. We missed out on him. The number two target was Axel Disasi. We've missed out on him. So now we're looking at the number 3 option realistically. Jean-Claire Todibo was not the number 1 option. It was Kim Min-jae. We all knew that from the very, very beginning of the transfer market. You know, it looked set in stone that we were going to get Kim Min-jae, and then we didn't get him. So yeah, it is a little bit strange to be going after the 3rd choice option. Maybe it'll work out. Maybe he'll be a good player for Manchester United, but I'm not going to be that excited about it at this point. Obviously, I'll support him if he comes in. He'll have my full backing, and I hope he does well. But he wouldn't have been my preferred option. I would have liked to see Antonio Silva from Benfica, or I'd have liked to see maybe someone like Tomori from AC Milan. Like somebody like that, I think would have excited me a bit more. But yeah, let me know. He's 6'3". He's very, very strong. He's very fast as well. So as I said, it's a massive, massive upgrade on what's he called? On Maguire. Yeah, his release clause is 48 million euros. So what's that in pounds? Let me just have a quick look for you. Euros to pounds. I mean, it's quite a lot of money, isn't it? 48 million euros. It's about 41 million pounds. So yeah, that's a lot of money, I think. 40 plus million pounds for Jean-Claire Todibo. I honestly would save the money, go and spend it on a striker, go and get maybe someone like Jonathan David. See if you can test the waters for Mohammed Kudus, maybe, you know, someone like that. I think we need a striker more. Like if you've watched any of the pre-season matches, the areas where we're really, really lacking is goal scorers. You know, yesterday we started the match without a single striker on the pitch. We brought on that Joe, the Hugel guy. Like he was the only striker in the whole squad yesterday. So when you're looking at squad depth, we really, really don't have any options for strikers, do we? We have Rasmus Hojlund, and that's it. We have one striker. Martial can't be relied upon. We are going to be talking about Martial in a minute, actually. There is a surprise club who have entered the race for Anthony Martial, so we will talk about that in a minute. But overall, centre-back isn't a priority position for me. I think we can make do with, you know, Varane and Martinez as our 2 centre-backs. I think is elite. I'm really happy with that. Lindelof as the main backup. Luke Shaw is the 4th choice, because I think Luke Shaw at left centre-back is quite good. And then you've got Johnny Evans as 5th choice, and then you could just bring someone through the youth academy. Like I would much rather do that and then go and spend the money we get from Maguire, the money we get from McTominay on another striker, because that is the priority position for me now. But it does look like Manchester United will push the button on to Debo if Harry Maguire leaves the club. So let me know what you think about that one in the comments section. Let me know if you're excited about him. Just to be very, very clear, it will only happen if Harry Maguire leaves. But from what we're hearing, West Ham are going to come back in for an improved bid. And I do think that Harry Maguire will eventually leave the club purely. I mean, if he doesn't, I'll be shocked. I will really, really be shocked. To be booed by your own fans in a friendly, that is low. Like, that is so low. Like, as I said, I don't condone booing, but imagine you're that player, right? You've literally hardly played in pre-season. You get a game time in one match with like the reserve team. He wasn't even the captain as well. Tom Heaton was the captain yesterday. I mean, that just shows how much Erik ten Hag has kind of pushed him out of the plans. He didn't even give Maguire the captaincy yesterday in a friendly. He gave it to Tom Heaton. So he's not the captain. He makes a really bad mistake and then he gets booed by his own fans. Like, if that's not enough to say, I need to leave this football club, then I really don't know what's going on in that guy's head. Yeah, so anyway, let's move on with the rest of the show. Do let me know what you think about the Todibo situation. Do let me know if you think that the booing was okay. It's not acceptable for me. I really don't think it is. And let's crack on with the rest of the show. So let's talk about Anthony Martial, because this is somebody who is causing a lot of controversy. You know, he wasn't even on the bench yesterday. Let me just say that. There was no Anthony Martial to be seen. He wasn't on the bench. He's training with the squad. I don't get it. So there's a story coming out this morning saying that Anthony Martial is among multiple forward targets for West Ham. No final decision has been made yet, but the club are looking to explore options in this department. So obviously West Ham have just sold Scamacca to Inter Milan, or was it to Atalanta? Scamacca have just sold I think he was their record signing striker to Atalanta, and are now looking to buy a new striker. And apparently there's a story coming out this morning saying that they're going to come in for Anthony Martial. I mean, if we manage to sell Martial, Maguire and McTominay to West Ham, like, that would be unbelievable. That would be so good, wouldn't it? Like, how much money do you think we'd get for those 3 players? I think 60 million combined for Maguire and McTominay, and then maybe 15 million for Martial. Like, if you got 70 to 80 million for those 3 players, that'd be some of the best business around, wouldn't it? Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. I will keep you updated on what goes with that. I honestly have no idea what's going on with Martial. I am concerned about him. Like, we need him. If he's actually able to play football matches, we need him. But it doesn't seem like he is. He seems like he's just permanently going to be injured now, even though he's training. It doesn't make sense. I really, really need to have some clarity on this, because We get so many people asking on the channel, what's going on with Martial? Why wasn't he in the squad yesterday? And I simply don't know the answer. Nobody has said anything about it. He's training. You see pictures of him and videos of him training, and proper training, not on his own. He's training with the rest of the squad. And then he doesn't even make the matchday squad on the bench yesterday. Like, it doesn't make any sense. The only thing I can think is that maybe he is going to leave the club, and maybe they're trying to keep him, injury free, so then they can try and push him on to someone else. That's the only thing that would make sense, because why would you start the season with someone that you're too afraid to even give minutes in pre-season? Like, it makes zero sense. But let me know what you think about that one in the comments section. Do you think Anthony Martial is being pushed out of the door, and maybe that's why he didn't feature for Manchester United against Athletic Bilbao yesterday? Let me know in the comment section what you think will happen with him. Let me know if you think West Ham would be a good move for Anthony Martial. For me, I think it would be a really, really solid move for the player. So let's hope that he just understands that that's the best place for him to go, and he goes. He's had offers from Saudi Arabia as well. There are people who want to buy Anthony Martial, and if we do want to get rid of him, I'm confident we can do that deal. So it's just a case of how much Manchester United actually want to sell him. Do they want to keep him? We've got a super chat coming in from King Stash. He says, Real Madrid fans used to boo Bale and he was world class. I think Maguire being booed is not a big deal. Think about how much he's cost United. The thing is, though, like, Real Madrid fans, I don't want to compare ourselves to Real Madrid fans. They lose one match and they get out their the little white handkerchiefs they have where they want the manager to be sacked? Like, Real Madrid fans used to boo Ronaldo. Like, they're probably one of their best players in the last 10 years, if not the best player in the last 10 years. I don't think we should be comparing ourselves to Real Madrid, to be honest. I just think that I don't want to say they're a bit of a classless club, but like, their fans, honestly, for the amount of success they've had, to be booing your own players, it is a bit disgraceful, it is. But yeah, at the end of the day, I wasn't crying that our fans booed Maguire. I just mean more from his perspective. If I'm Harry Maguire, every time I come on the pitch, I make a mistake. The press are out to get him. The fans don't want him there anymore. Erik ten Hag strips him of the captaincy. Like, surely that's a big enough sign to say, I need to leave. Like, if that's not a sign for him to go, then I don't know what he's waiting for. But thank you for the super chat anyway. If anybody does want to do a super chat, if you want to join the members club, just hit the $sign and get involved. Everybody is, of course, welcome. Right, let's keep things moving on the show this morning, though. Let's talk about Fred. We have got an update on Fred for you. So Fabrizio Romano has come out in the last 5 or 6 hours saying that Manchester United expect Fred Sale to advance this week. Sources guarantee he will 100% leave the club. So Fred is definitely gone. Fabrizio has just confirmed that, saying that he will 100% leave the club this summer. That's good news, it is, because I know so many of you in the chat are saying, what's going on with Fred? Why is he still here? He hasn't featured in any of the preseason matches. Like, he really, really does need to be moved on at this stage, doesn't he? Because he is the key part of the puzzle, which allows us to go and get Amrabat. Until Fred goes, it looks like Amrabat won't be coming. So we really, really need to see Fred going this week. Apparently, Manchester United want around 15 million euros for Fred. That's what's being reported. They initially wanted 20, but no clubs were willing to pay it. 15 million euros is about 13 million pounds, which sounds very low, but yeah, when you actually break it down, there isn't that many people who seem to want to pay the money for Fred. Obviously, Galatasaray were linked to him, but they seem to have gone very, very quiet. There's another story coming out in the last couple of minutes, actually, from Samuel Luckhurst, which I'll bring to you really, really quickly. Where is it? Yeah, so Samuel Luckhurst has been talking about Fred this morning. Where is he? And he's ultimately saying that Galatasaray, that the amount of money that they were offering is just ultimately not enough to get him to the club. They were offering 5 million euros, 8 million euros, and then I think it was 10 million euros. It's an absolute joke. And I'm glad Manchester United didn't sell him for that type of money, because if we'd have got less than 10 million euros for Fred, that would have been really, really poor, wouldn't it? So yeah, this week's going to be a really, really big one for the Fred saga, whatever you want to call it. Apparently Fulham were interested as well, but that's gone very, very quiet. Yeah, very, very mysterious. I don't know why it's taken so long. I really don't. But this week should be pivotal for that bit of move. Do let me know in the comments section how much you think would be a fair price for Fred. I think at this stage, if we can get anything between 10 and 20 million pounds, I'll take that any day of the week. I don't think we can be picky anymore. The season starts a week today, and we've got a player who didn't do a single match in pre-season. And definitely needs to be moved on. So anywhere from 10 to 20 would be fine. Obviously, there are a couple of Saudi clubs who are linked to him. If a Saudi club comes in, you do kind of hope that they'll offer the closer to 20. But it's gone so quiet that I think at this stage, we just got to take whatever we can get. I do, because he's clearly not part of the plans. He hasn't been involved in a single minute of the preseason tour, not 1 minute. So yeah, where is the story? Yeah, so there's a story coming out from Samuel Luckhurst right now saying that sources say interest in Fred has apparently cooled down. Fulham remain open to signing Fred. Galatasaray did not submit an acceptable offer for Fred. So at this stage, it probably does look like his most likely destination will either be Fulham or a Saudi Arabian club. Apparently, interest has cooled down, so there isn't as many people battling for Fred as we maybe had hoped. Yeah. We'll have to wait and see on that one. I think Fulham would be a really, really good move for him. Obviously, Andreas Pereira went there, didn't he, from Manchester United, and he looked pretty good last season. So I think Fred would start every single match for Fulham. A midfield of Fred and what's the other guy called? Paulinho. That would be a really good midfield. So hopefully Fred gets his move, and it does look like it will happen this week. And as Fabrizio said, he will 100% leave the club this summer. So as I say, it's a matter of when, not if. And let's just hope that this week is a massive, massive week for outgoings, because that's the priority now. The priority is to move on players. I don't like using the word deadwood, but let's say players surplus to requirements. We've got so many players in our squad who simply aren't going to be part of the plans going forward, and they need to leave. They need to be moved on. And Fred is definitely one of them. Another player who falls into that category is Donny van de Beek. We're going to talk a little bit about him now really quickly. So we've got an update on Donny van de Beek for you as well. Fabrizio Romano is saying that negotiations will continue this week with Real Sociedad for the Donny van de Beek signing. So it looks like Donny will be leaving. We're still unsure whether this is going to be a permanent move. It hasn't been clarified. I've tried to find out about Donny, but yeah, at the moment, nobody seems to be reporting on whether it's a permanent deal or not. Although we have just had some breaking news. Sometimes you ask these questions and you get the answers, don't you? So we've had a story coming out in the last 5 minutes, again, from Samuel Luckhurst, who writes for the Manchester Evening News. And he is reporting that Manchester United are now in direct discussions with Real Sociedad about the permanent sale of Donny van de Beek. So it looks like it will be a permanent deal for Donny, not a loan move. That's just been reported by the Manchester Evening News. I'm now going to ask you, how much do you think would be a fair price for Donny van de Beek? Let me know in the comment section, how much would you be happy to sell Donny van de Beek for? It looks like it will be a permanent deal, not a loan. I'm so happy about that, I am. I've said this on the show so many times. I think loans for players in their mid-20s is pointless. He needs to go on a permanent, or he needs to play for Manchester United. There is absolutely no reason to keep him, to pay half of his wages, send him on loan. Like it makes zero sense. So I'm really, really happy that it looks like he's going to get his permanent move. I think somewhere between 15 and 20 million would be a fair price for Donny. He is still quite young. I think he's 26, is he? Yeah, Donny van de Beek's 26 years of age. I think somewhere between 15 and 20 million would be a fair price. Obviously, that would be us taking a bit of a hit on what we paid for him. But yeah, we just kind of have to bite the bullet now, don't we? You know, I think we paid about 30, 40 million euros for him. So we will lose a little bit of money. But at the end of the day, 15 to 20 million pounds in the bank, that's really good business, I think. If it's anything less than that, it will be a bit disappointing. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 10. I would not be surprised at all if we get a story come out later today saying that he's moving there for like 10 million plus add-ons. Yeah, it's just a bit mad, isn't it, that like he was so good for Erik ten Hag at Ajax. He was one of their best players. Ten Hag comes to Manchester United, and then he just doesn't even play him. Like, I'm not slagging off Erik ten Hag, because obviously I fully back him, but it clearly shows like how the levels have changed in Donny's game. If, you know, the manager who ultimately like made his career comes to the club and then he still doesn't get any game time, it's not great for him, is it? We've got 900 people watching this morning, which is absolutely massive. Big ups to everybody. Big ups to everybody who is watching the show this morning. Please do go and smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're about 20 subscribers away from 8,200, so do subscribe if you haven't already. We're live every single day at 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. UK time, and if anything breaks during the day, we do go live as well, so make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. We've got a bit of an update on Jonny Evans for you as well. This is coming in again from Manchester Evening News in the last kind of 5 or so minutes. So apparently Jonny Evans' current contract expires at the end of August. We were all wondering how long this contract was. So at the moment, Jonny Evans will only be a Manchester United player until the end of August. He says Jonny Evans does not know whether Manchester United will keep him beyond the end of this month. Evans is understood to be contracted to United for at least 2 more weeks, but his deal expires at the end of August. Yeah, so they're reporting ultimately that at this stage, nobody knows whether Johnny Evans will be kept on as a Manchester United player. I think he will. I just hope that Johnny Evans stays for a year and Harry Maguire leaves. Like, I think that would be really, really clever business. You know, you're bringing in someone who has all the experience, somebody who, in my opinion, isn't even any worse than Harry Maguire. I would say he's probably a level pegging player. You bring in somebody like that, he's probably going to be on a fraction of the wages that Harry Maguire would be on. He'd probably be on like 50 to 100 grand. Bring him in, then reinvest all that money in a striker. It makes complete sense. So at this point, there was a story coming out last week, wasn't there, saying that Johnny Evans had already been given a 1-year contract, but that's just been confirmed as incorrect. He's still waiting to find out. But yeah, let me know in the comment section. Would you keep Johnny Evans? Would you give him the 1-year deal? Let me know what you guys think. For me, I would 100% give him the 1-year deal. I think it makes complete sense. I think he has all the experience. He's won Champions Leagues, he's won Premier Leagues and all the rest of it. We've got some breaking news on Pellistri. I just want to say before I read this out, Pellistri yesterday was absolutely unbelievable. Pellistri 100% needs to stay at Manchester United this season. I think he's incredible. I do. We were having a really good debate yesterday and there were some people in the chat saying, to be honest, I think Pellistri looks better than Antony. I think he looks better than Sancho. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to say he looks better because, you know, I want all my players to do well, but I think he looks on par with them. I do. I genuinely think Pellistri looks on par with Antony. Sancho's looked really good in pre-season, so maybe not on par with Sancho, but I definitely think Pellistri looks on par with Antony. Right, so we've got some breaking news coming out from Fabrizio Romano on Pellistri. He says, I understand that Manchester United are now making progress in talks to extend Pellistri's contract. It will be a new long-term deal priority before letting him leave on loan. He goes on to say that FC 20 in the Eredivisie are pushing to have Pellistri on loan until June 2024. Man United will decide soon. The long-term contract bit, that's great. So it looks like Manchester United will tie him down to a long-term contract. That's great news, amazing news, because I genuinely think that Pellistri could go on to be a very, very special player for this club. The loaning him out to the Eredivisie part, I'm really not too excited about that. I think it's a really, really bad decision. But at the end of the day, I'm not the manager of Manchester United. If they decide to do that, then that's up to them. If it doesn't go well, then obviously we can then judge that and we can criticise it. I just think that he needs to move to somewhere in the Premier League. He needs to move to like a Burnley. He needs to move to a Luton. Someone at the bottom half of the Premier League where he's going to play every single minute for that club, get Premier League experience, because I honestly do think he's a special player. I'm not trying to overhype him, but from all of the pre-season, the standout performers for me have been Garnacho, 19 years of age, Pellistri, 21 years of age, and probably, if I'm being really fair, probably Jadon Sancho. Those are probably the three standout players from the pre-season tour for me. Like, he has to stay, Pellistri. Yeah, it is a bit frustrating because the other thing you have to consider as well is Amad Diallo is injured. Amad Diallo is reportedly out for around 2 to 3 months. We're not sure exactly what the injury is, but obviously he did get injured. Was it against Arsenal? I can't remember which game it was, but he got injured in one of the pre-season matches, didn't he? And apparently he won't be able to play for around 2 to 3 months. So if you think Amad's out, who do you have left? You have Antony and you have Sancho, but Sancho's going to be playing as a centre forward, a false nine, sorry. So your right wing options are now really, really limited. Obviously, Elanga's gone. Garnacho and Rashford are on the left. Like, who else do you then have for the right side of midfield? It's just Antony. Because I honestly think that Sancho will be played as a false nine a lot next season. So for me, I would 100% keep Pellistri. I don't think a loan move to the Eredivisie makes any sense. But let me know in the comment section, what would you do with Pellistri? Do you agree that he deserves a chance in the first team? Let me know your thoughts. Or do you think this move to FC 20 would be a good move? I don't know what it is about the Eredivisie. I just don't. It just doesn't excite me. I think like some players, I mean like Donny van de Beek, prime example. He was incredible for Ajax in the Eredivisie. He comes to the Premier League and he doesn't do very well. Like, I think it is quite difficult to go from the Dutch League to the Premier League. It's such a big jump. Like, do you think the Dutch League is on level with the Championship? I'm not sure the answer to this, but let me know in the comment section. Yeah, other than like Ajax, obviously like PSV, a couple of teams, like most of the teams in the Dutch league would probably be beaten by the teams in the Championship, I reckon, in the UK. So yeah, I don't think it's a good move, but obviously I trust Erik ten Hag. If he thinks it's the right move for Pellistri, if Pellistri wants to go there, then I guess they should do it. But yeah, for me, I'll be really, really disappointed if he does go to the Dutch league, because I would love to see more of him next season, because he's so exciting. He's so good on the ball. He's got that really low force of gravity that like Messi's got. I'm not saying he's going to go on to be as good as Messi, but you know what I mean. Like, when he has the ball, he dribbles with it like and players just take him out because he's really, really hard to tackle. He's got that low force of gravity style play, hasn't he? And he ends up bringing people in. And was he? No, it was Hannibal who got the red card yesterday, wasn't it? But the amount of times that Pellistri got taken out yesterday in a friendly match where people were literally having to like pull his shirt to get him off the ball. Yeah, he really excites me. And as I said, I even would say that I would like to see him start over Antony in some matches, because I definitely think he's shown in pre-season why he deserves a chance. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you think about that one. So some people in the chat are asking about Mohammed Kudus. So let's talk about Kudus really, really quickly. This is somebody who, as you know, I would really, really like to sign at Manchester United. As it stands, Brighton have agreed a 40 million euros bid for Mohammed Kudus, but the player hasn't agreed personal terms yet. So they don't know whether he actually wants to move to Brighton. I mean, I'm going to be very, very honest here. Do you really think going from Ajax to Brighton is like a positive career move? You're going from the best team in the Dutch league to like Brighton, who, let's be honest, are good, but I honestly don't think it's a good move for him. I think him coming to Manchester United would be great. Just to be clear, we haven't made a bid for him, but I would go in for him. I would. 40 million euros is about 34 million pounds. I would definitely go and get Mohammed Kudus. I think he's a quality player. But let me know what you think about that one in the chat. As it stands, it looks like he will move to Brighton, but they are still trying to agree personal terms with him. So personal terms have not been agreed. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Maybe he doesn't want to go to the club. I'm not really too sure. I'm just speculating. But Fabrizio Romano has the following. Mohammed Kudus officially starts for Ajax today, as Brighton have agreed 40 million euros fee. Still waiting to agree on personal terms, as mentioned yesterday. It's not a done deal yet. So yeah, he played yesterday for Ajax in a pre-season friendly, which is a bit strange. Yeah, I'll keep you updated on that one. I would love it if Manchester United hijacked that deal. I really, really would. For £34 million, that is a quality signing. When you think that I think we paid 95 million euros for Antony, right? And they're about to get Kudus, who arguably is as good, if not better, for 40 million. But yeah, let me know what you think about that one in the chat. I always look forward to seeing you guys' opinions. Right, we've got another super chat coming in from Hansen. Hansen says, career stats from players at 20 years of age. Nistelrooy 5 goals, Alan Shearer 6 goals, Kane 20 goals, Rashford 21 goals, Zlatan 16 goals, Rasmus 27 goals, Greenwood 35 goals. Yeah, I did see that stat, I did. It's pretty mad when you actually look at how Rasmus Hojlund compares with some of the best strikers in the world at his age. He had more goals than Suarez, more goals than Van Nistelrooy, Shearer, Harry Kane. Yeah, we will talk about Mason Greenwood as well in a minute. And thank you very much for the super chat, Hanson. I really, really appreciate that. And I hope you're doing well, my friend. Somebody in the chat saying we don't need any more wingers. I kind of agree, but if Jadon Sancho is going to be playing as a false 9, then maybe we do need to do it. And the thing that I like about Mohammed Kudus is he can play as a centre attacking midfielder, he can play as a centre forward, and he can play as a right winger. So you're arguably getting a player who can play in 3 different positions, which opens up the door to so many different options in that front kind of attacking field. And we know how badly we're desperate to score goals, because we really, really have struggled in pre-season to get goals. And I do think that somebody like Kudus would really, really help. But yeah, let me know what you think about that one. Would you go for Kudus? And let's talk about the next player. So we've got a bit of an update on Joao Felix for you. Now, I know this is somebody who a lot of you in the chat are really, really excited about. I keep getting asked, Kieran, is Joao Felix going to come to the club? Why are we not going for him? He'd be a really good option and all the rest of it. So apparently Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia are trying to sign Joao Felix, okay? They've offered him, are you ready for this? A salary of 40 million per year. So Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia are really, really pressing for Joao Felix. I'm not sure entirely what the fee is. I can't see that. So it looks like it'll be a 1-year loan, and they're going to pay Felix 40 million euros to go for 1 year. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, I think as much as I like Joao Felix, I think the type of money that would require to get this deal done for a 1-year period, I just think it doesn't make any sense. I don't. Apparently, Atletico Madrid want around £30 million as a loan fee, and you have to pay his wages on top of that. So for me, it's a definite skip. But I know some of you have been asking me about this one, so I thought I would bring him into the show. It does look like he will go to Al Hilal for 1 year on loan and be paid absolutely ridiculous money to do it. Right, let's keep things moving though. Let's talk about Scott McTominay. So as you know, guys, it looks like West Ham are the club really, really pushing for the McTominay signing. But there's been a story come out this morning saying that apparently Roma, obviously the club that Jose Mourinho manages, could make a move for Scott McTominay shortly. They have expressed strong interest in recent hours. They could be encouraged to enter negotiations following an approach from Rennes for Nemanja Matic. So it looks like Matic will be leaving Roma. And then the story that's come out this morning says that Roma will then look to make a bid for Scott McTominay. I mean, that would be a really, really good move for Scott, wouldn't it? Because Jose Mourinho absolutely loved McTominay. So, yeah, maybe that one happens. Maybe they reunite together. McTominay goes over to Roma. But I think him going to West Ham probably seems like a more logical option. Obviously... But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the most positive thing is that there are multiple clubs who are kind of pushing for his signature. Both Roma and West Ham are both in the race for McTominay. Right. Somebody says, Kieran, if Harry Kane's transfer to Bayern doesn't go through, how likely are we to try and sign him in January? I think that English clubs can't do contracts in January with free agents. I think they have to wait till the summer. I think it can only be people outside of their kind of domestic league. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Manchester United go for Harry Kane as a free agent if he doesn't go to Bayern. I have no idea what's going on with that deal. Bayern Munich offered £80 million on Friday and set a deadline of Friday evening, right? So they said, you either let us know by the end of tonight, otherwise we're pulling out on Friday. And then Daniel Levy's just gone on holiday to Miami with his family for 2 weeks. So he's literally playing mind games with them. They haven't gone back to them. They haven't told him whether the bid's been accepted or not. Yeah. But I'm glad we're not in that race because they literally do just play mind games, don't they? Tottenham. Daniel Levy is the king of mind games. I'm going to ask you this, though. Let me ask you this question. If we could get Harry Kane for free in the summer, would you go for it? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section. Would you go for Harry Maguire? Not Harry Maguire, Harry Kane. Right, there is some breaking news coming out as well, actually, about Anthony Martial. This is coming in from Fabrizio Romano on Anthony Martial. So Fabrizio Romano has said the following. At the moment, Anthony Martial is staying at Manchester United, but I could consider him staying in the same range as players of Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire. If he gets an important proposal, he could leave. Otherwise, he'll stay and be part of Erik ten Hag's rotation squad. That's the feeling around Martial right now. And then he goes on to say that Anthony Martial will be sold for the right price. So Martial is up for sale. That's what Fabrizio has just confirmed, that Martial is up for sale for the right price. And ultimately, he's in the same position as Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire, which is they're not going to be pushed out of the club. But if somebody does come in for him, they will sell him, which I think does make sense. You know, if somebody comes in and offers you £20 million for Anthony Martial, like, of course you've got to take that. But yeah, so that was an exclusive that just come from Fabrizio Romano. The Martial is ultimately for sale, and it will depend on who comes into the market for him, what kind of bids they get. Yeah, so we'll keep you updated on that one. We'll let you know as and when we get more news on the Martial situation. We've got nearly 1,000 people watching today, which is absolutely massive. Big ups to everybody on a Monday morning. Please do smash a like on the video if you haven't already, everybody. And please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. It doesn't cost any money. It's completely free. We're only 30 subscribers away from 9,300. So please do go and subscribe if you haven't already. And big ups to everybody who is watching the show and all the regulars. Right, let's crack on with some other bits. I will read out some of your questions in the second half as well. So if you do have any questions, get them in the chat and I will read them out in a little bit. Just put the letter Q in front of your message. Right, let's keep things rolling though. Right, now this one was just a little fun one that I wanted to bring into the show. It looks like Ansu Fati from Barcelona will be leaving the club this summer. Do you think, is this somebody that you would like to see at Manchester United? Apparently Barcelona are trying to push him out of the club and we're not sure who is talking to him, but it says Fabrizio has reported that clubs behind the scenes are pushing to open talks with Barcelona for Ansu Fati. Now, I know we have been linked to this player before. I think it was last summer, wasn't it, that we were linked to Ansu Fati. Is this somebody that you would like to see at Manchester United? It was in May, it was in May that Manchester United were linked to him and in January. I'm not too sure about this one. I don't think we need Ansu Fati. I don't think he would get that much game time at Manchester United. But yeah, I just wanted to bring it into the show as a little fun one to see what you guys thought about this player. So let me know in the comment section, would you enter the race for Ansu Fati? Obviously, he can play left wing, centre forward and right wing. So he does give you quite a few options, and it does look like he will be leaving Barcelona this summer. 20 years of age. Obviously a very, very talented player. But yeah, let me know in the comment section, would you go for Ansu Fati? Yes or no? Somebody says, what are your thoughts on Mitrovic from Fulham? I think Mitrovic will be a quality signing. I do, as like a cheap alternative, but I don't think we'll get him, because he was going to move to Saudi Arabia, wasn't he? I think Saudi Arabia offered maybe 50 million for him, and Fulham rejected it. So yeah, I'm not going to pay 50 million for Mitrovic. I'm not. Yeah, it was 40 million pounds. Saudi Arabia offered 40 million pounds for Mitrovic, and ultimately Fulham said no. So there's no way on earth I'm paying more than 40 million pounds for Mitrovic. Like, I do think he's a good player, but he's not worth 40 plus million, I don't think. I mean, how old is it, Mitrovic? I mean, he's 28. Yeah, no, it's a no from me. I'm not going for Mitrovic for 40 million pounds. But let me know in the comment section, everybody, would you like to get Mitrovic? Somebody in the chat has asked about him. Obviously, Saudi Arabian club offered 40 million for him and it was rejected. So you'd have to offer more than 40 million, which I think is too much. Maybe there's a world where you could try and do like a player swap deal with Fred, but I think it's too hypothetical to actually entertain. It's a no from me. I would not get Mitrovic in Manchester United. I would much rather get Ivan Toney. I think Ivan Toney is a much better player. So yeah, for me, I would go for Ivan Toney if it was like somebody in the Premier League as a kind of wild card option. I'd go with Ivan Toney. I think he's a quality player. And I think he'd do well at Manchester United, but I think because of his gambling charges, maybe that would be an issue for the club, you know? So yeah, but in relation to that one, no, I wouldn't go for Ivan Toney. There's some breaking news coming out in the last couple of minutes. It looks like Matt Turner, Fabrizio has just said, it looks like Matt Turner will be going to Nottingham Forest, obviously as a new goalkeeper. I don't know what this means for Dean Henderson. I really, really don't. It's very, very frustrating. So there's a story coming up from David Ornstein, actually, just as we spoke about it. So apparently, here we go. This is on Dean Henderson, everyone. David Ornstein is reporting, despite Nottingham Forest reaching an agreement with Matt Turner, Nottingham Forest still remain determined to re-sign Dean Henderson, and discussions are being held with Manchester United. An appearance clause in a loan-to-buy agreement has been the main topic of negotiations. So what David Ornstein is reporting this morning is that they still do want Dean Henderson, but it looks like it's going to be a loan with a buy option. I mean, what is wrong with this club? A loan with a buy option. And the main issue seems to be something around an appearance clause. So I think from what I read, Nottingham Forest wanted it to be that they only had to buy Dean Henderson if he played 30 or more matches, which is ridiculous. 30 or more matches in one season. Like, they could just play 29 matches and say, oh, he only played 29, and then don't play him anymore. And I think Manchester United wanted it to be 5 matches. So there's a bit of a gap in agreement on this deal. But it does, yeah, just to be very, very clear, it doesn't look like it's going to be a permanent deal. It looks like it's going to be a loan with an obligation to buy, but they're negotiating what the obligation to buy will include. So how many games it will be, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, we did the same thing with Eric Bailly last season, and that didn't work out. I think he had to play 20 games or something for Marseille, and he didn't do that. And then he's back at Manchester United, like not even in the team. So yeah, for me, it 100% has to be a full sale to Nottingham Forest. But at the end of the day, I guess we've just got to take what we can get at this point. You know, if that's the only option we have, if there's nowhere else for Dean Henderson to go, then maybe we do just have to accept this loan with an option to buy. Maybe that is the only solution. But yeah, a little bit concerning. As long as he does leave the club, I'll be relatively happy. But yeah, it does look like Matt Turner is 100% moving to Nottingham Forest. So, I don't know. I just think the most concerning thing is they're signing 2 goalkeepers, right? They're signing Matt Turner, who is obviously the backup goalkeeper at Arsenal, and they're signing Dean Henderson. But they're buying Matt Turner, and then they're loaning Dean Henderson, and they're saying, oh, if he plays 30 matches, we'll keep him. I just don't think that's all right, because they could just play Matt Turner for half the matches and Dean Henderson for half the matches and then say, oh, he only played for 20 matches, we're not keeping him. Like, I just think it sounds too risky for me. So, yeah. But it is what it is, isn't it? There is some more breaking news coming out in the last couple of minutes as well, actually. This is coming from Simon Stone, who is a BBC Sports journalist. Very, very good journalist. Doesn't report anything unless it's 100% kind of confirmed. And he is saying that Donny van de Beek is in advanced talks with Real Sociedad about... Let me read that again. Donny van de Beek is in talks with Real Sociedad about a move from Manchester United. So it does look like this move will happen. Obviously, it's been reported by Fabrizio, now Simon Stone in the BBC, and it looks like it will be a permanent deal. So hopefully this week we get Donny to Real Sociedad and we get Fred to, I don't know, somewhere. And hopefully Eric Bailly goes as well. Like, I honestly can't believe Eric Bailly is still at the club. There is a bit of an update on him. So this is what Simon Stone has just said. He says, Real Sociedad are keen on Donny van de Beek, whose Manchester United career is nearing its end. Eric Bailly has told he can find a new club. He is not part of Eric Ten Hag's plans. So yeah, Eric Bailly and Donny van de Beek are 100% out of the race. I don't know what he means by he can find a new club. Like, is that implying that they're going to let him go for free? Like, I don't really get that bit of it. But yeah, obviously, as soon as we do get an update on both of those players, we will let you know. Somebody's asking about how much. So I think the Matt Turner deal is worth about £6 or £7 million. So it's not very much money. And this Matt Turner guy is on about a quarter of the money that Dean Henderson's on, wages-wise. So it's a really, really good bit of business for Nottingham Forest to bring in Arsenal's backup goalkeeper, who I know a lot of Arsenal fans think are actually quite good. Bring him in for £6 or £7 million on a really low wage. And then you also bring in, Dean Henderson on loan. Like, that's really good business. Yeah, so it's just been confirmed that Matt Turner will have a medical at Nottingham Forest today. So, yeah. JP says, Kieran, where do you think we will finish this season? I worry about our creativity up front. We are too predictable up front, and our strikers are always in the graveyard shift. That's a great question. We will be doing a season prediction video this week, so keep an eye out for that. But we can talk about it really, really quickly. So I'll echo that back to the chat. Let me know in the comments section, where do you think Manchester United will finish in this season? I think we'll get top 4, I think. I don't think we'll... I'm not by any means thinking we're going to win the league, no. I think top 4 is realistic this season. Yeah, let me know in the comments section, though, what you think is realistic for this season. Somebody else says, we all don't have to be surprised with how things are going with our team, Manchester United, because if the head... I can't read that back. He says, if the head is crushed, the body doesn't exist. I assume you're talking about the strikers. Yeah, I know what you mean, mate. Yeah, it is frustrating. We've got about 10 minutes left of the show, and I am going to read out some of your questions now, so do get some questions into the live chat, and I will read out as many as I can. We've got a couple more bits of news to rattle through, so I'll allow you to get your questions in now whilst I go through the rest of the news. Yeah, so Simon Stone is also just reporting in the last couple of minutes that Fulham remain the main club interested in Fred, but a firm offer is yet to be materialised. So, yeah, I don't know what's taking so long. I really, really don't. If they want to buy Fred, then just put in a bid. It doesn't make any sense. I think this week is going to be heavily focused around outgoings. It's going to be Dean Henderson. It's going to be Maguire, McTominay, Fred, Donny van de Beek, Eric Bailly. Like, we could be sat here in a week's time and we might have 6 or 7 players out of the window. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. We need to have 6 or 7 players out of the club by this time next week. That has to happen. Otherwise, it's going to be really, really concerning. You know, if you've still got people like Dean Henderson, etc., going into that season, it's really, really not going to be good. Yeah, as Anthony says, this week will be a deciding week to wrap up transfers, including Amrabat, Marcus Leonardo, and Todibo. Yeah, let's talk about Marcus Leonardo really, really quickly. So, we are being linked to this striker in the Brazilian league. He's 20 years of age. He plays for Santos. The fee would be somewhere around £20 million. Just to be clear, a bid hasn't gone in yet, but we are heavily linked to him. We'll have to wait and see whether that one will materialise, because I just have this feeling that Mason Greenwood will come back, and I think Mason Greenwood will ultimately mean the Glazers don't then have to buy a striker. But at this point, we obviously don't know what's going on with Mason, and I will, of course, keep you updated as and when we get that story. Joe says, Kieran, do you think that this is one of the most successful transfer windows ever? I don't know. I wouldn't say so. Like, the outgoings has been absolutely terrible, let's be honest. I'd probably give the outgoings like a 1 or a 2 out of 10. Incomings-wise, Onana's a good signing. Mason Mount, like, not really excited about. Obviously, I'll back him. Obviously, I hope he does well. But when we were linked to him at the beginning, I was thinking, why are we going for Mason Mount? Onana, great signing. Rasmus Hojlund obviously is a good signing, but like, he's not going to win us the Premier League. It's not a Victor Osimhen. It's not a Harry Kane. He's someone for the future. So overall, I'd probably give the window like a 6 out of 10 probably at this point. If we're sat here in a week and Maguire's gone, McTominay's gone, Fred's gone, Donny's gone, Brandon Williams has gone, Bailly's gone. Like, if all of those players leave, I honestly think this window could be a 10. I do, because as soon as those people go, it will allow us to then free up funds to then buy other positions, other players in other positions. You know, we'll go for Amrabat, we'll go for a new centre back, we'll probably go for a new striker. We can easily make this window a 10 out of 10, easy. But it's just whether we get the outgoings right. If we don't get the outgoings right, I think it will probably be like a 6 out of 10 for me at this point. But let me know in the comments section, how would you rate this transfer window out of 10 so far? Let me know your reasons and all the rest of it, because I do always like to see you guys' opinions. We're only 24 subscribers away from 9,200, everybody. So please do go and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's see if we can hit that by the end of the video today. And please make sure you have smashed a like on the video if you haven't. I'm going to read out a couple more questions. So someone says, which window do you think is better? This window or last year's window? I mean, last year we got Anthony, Casemiro. Who else did we get? Who else did we get last window? I'm trying to remember. Trying to jog my memory. Anthony, Casemiro, Malacia. I can't honestly remember who we signed last season. Was that it? Ericsson. I think last window was better, to be honest. Yeah, let me know actually as well. Which window do you think was better? This window or last window? I would probably say last window was better. Last season, I mean, last summer. I'm just having a quick look. I'm trying to remind myself who we've signed. Yeah, so last summer we got Lisandro Martinez, incredible signing. Martinez, Casemiro. Yeah, last summer was definitely better, I think. Yeah, definitely. Obviously, it's not the end of the window yet, and you've got to think that we signed Casemiro and Anthony when the season had already started. So it's a little bit early to judge whether this season's window is better than last. But at this point, I would say last season's was better, definitely. But yeah, we never know. We might sell 2 or 3 more players. We might bring in 2 or 3 more players. So let's have a look. So somebody's saying a 4 out of 10. Somebody's saying 5 out of 10. I mean, another somebody saying 4 out of 10. Somebody saying 3 out of 10. Yeah. Hendrik says, do you think Mason Mount is a good signing, or should we have gone for Kudus? For me, I prefer Kudus. I'm not going to judge him at this point. I will say that I wasn't excited about Mason Mount when he signed. Like, I don't know. I don't rate him that much. That's just my honest opinion. I don't rate Mason Mount that much. But obviously he is a Manchester United player now. I trust Erik ten Hag 100%. If he thinks he's the right player for this squad, he has my 100% backing, and I hope he has a great season. So I don't really want to say, oh, we should have got Kudus or we should have got that, because I think it's a little bit too hypothetical for me. And the fact of the matter is that Mason Mount is a Manchester United player, and we should all support him. We should give him time. It might take him a year. It might take him 2 years. But yeah, I've given my opinion on it. I wasn't excited when he came. That's all I need to say on that one. Right, let's read out a couple more questions then. We've got 10 minutes left of the show, so let's read out some of your questions. So Paul says, it will only be a good transfer window if we improve on last season's third at the end of the season. Yeah, I get that. I mean, for me, the most important thing for this season ahead is that the football improves, because I think the football we played last season was quite poor generally. I understand why we played poor football, because ultimately we needed to get top 4, and we got top 4 and we won a trophy. So what Erik ten Hag achieved last season was nothing short of incredible. He did an amazing job, but generally the football that we watched was pretty average. I think it didn't really excite me that much. So my main thing for this season is that when I watch Manchester United, I get entertained. We score more goals. It's more fluid. We dominate teams. Like, that's what I want to see this season. And I think if we do that, then we'll naturally finish higher up the table. We'll maybe win another trophy. Like, you know what I mean? I think the football needs to improve. That's the most important thing for me. Somebody's saying United is saying something is coming. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Brian says Mount was good for me behind Garnacho for man of the match against Lens. Yeah, he did look good against Lens, Mason Mount. I think it's too early to be like, oh, he's a flop. I honestly, I've seen some people in the chat saying he's a flop before, and it's like, come on. Like, it's far too early to be saying that, in my opinion. I don't think it's fair. Somebody's saying United have just released a teaser. Something is coming. There's Roy Keane in the video. Where are you seeing this, everybody? Let me know where you're seeing this, and you'll get my live reaction. I assume it's on Instagram. All right, give me 1 second, everybody. Smash a like on the video and subscribe just whilst I find this bit of breaking news that everybody's talking about in the chat. Let's have a look. Oh, here we go. All right. If anybody's wondering what we're talking about, all right. Okay, so it's Roy Keane walking out, 8th of August. It's going to be the third kit, surely. It's obviously going to be the third kit. It's guys, you're all being sucked in. I don't want to ruin your morning, but it'll obviously be the third kit. It's going to be that new white kit that they're releasing. There'll be some link to Roy Keane on, maybe we had a white kit at one point and he had a good game or something like that. Yeah, it's going to be the third kit. I bet you any money it's going to be that white kit with the Red Devil badge, 100%. Maybe it's not, but I would say it is going to be the third kit. So apparently tomorrow there's going to be some announcement. 9 o'clock, we'll see you there. Yeah, it's obviously the third kit. Sorry to ruin everyone's day, but yeah, I would say it's 90% going to be the third kit. Somebody said maybe Roy Keane will get added to the coaching staff. I mean, if that happens, that would be incredible. If Roy Keane becomes part of the coaching staff, you'll never see the players heads dropping because he will literally destroy them. If what time is it? So it's 9 o'clock. I'm just trying to work out what time that is. What British summertime? So it's 9 o'clock tomorrow. Is that AM? Does anybody in the chat know what BST means? Is that? I'm not sure what that means. Does anybody know what 9 o'clock is? I think it would just be a new kit. But if it's Roy Keane being added to the coaching staff, that would be absolutely mad. That'd be mental. Right, this feels like a really good place to wrap up the video. Massive thanks to everybody who has joined us on the show this morning. It's been an absolutely incredible show. So thank you for being here. Please do make sure to smash a like on your way out. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. We will be back live at 6 p.m. UK time today. And if anything breaks during the day, of course, we will go live. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell. This has been Daily Red Devil. I've been Kieran. I'll catch you guys later. Lots of love and peace out.